I will now call the March 2nd, 2015 Blue Springs City Council meeting to order. If you would stand with me, observe a moment of silence, and I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I want to welcome you in attendance, as well as those that might listen to the audio version at a later time, to tonight's City Council meeting. The next item is the consent agenda. Councilman Carter has asked that I pull item H. Are there other items that need to be pulled? If not, I accept a motion for approval.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Quibell?
Aye.
Councilman Levacy? I'm sorry. Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper?
Aye.
Carried Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously. I apologize.
No, that's okay. We all got to get used to voting.
Wow.
Okay, Councilman Carter, item H.
Your Honor, this goes back to, for me, when the Woods Chapel project came under review, and we did not accept the lowest bid for the project, and we have another situation where we're not accepting the lowest bid, and I get that it's the lowest and best bid. I just want an explanation on why this is the best bid, since it's not the lowest.
Okay, I will defer to our Parks and Recreation Director, Dennis Doble.
Thank you. Early in January, staff began a process of requesting RFQs. It was an open process that we asked any general contractor who's interested in bidding the project to submit their qualifications. A selection committee was then formed using a quantitative assessment. We notified 3 firms that they would be provided the opportunity to bid the project based upon the construction documents that were developed by SFS Architecture, which is our architect firm that we've hired on the construction. Included in the bid documents was information that provided the contractor with the knowledge the bid was based on 2 points: qualifications to complete the project and the cost to complete the project. When we got bids were returned, there was about a 1% difference between the 2 low bids. However, Turner Construction Company, prior to the bidding being submitted, demonstrated superior qualifications to complete the project. Turner provided 5 separate projects that were similar in nature to recreation centers, as well as field house concepts within the last 5 years, while Excel Constructors provided only 1 project that was related to a recreation center or field house, and that was over 10 years old since they had done that project. The project staff also that Turner provided outlined significant experience when it came to their experience with recreation or field house projects, as well as renovation projects. Turner Construction was the top-rated firm going into the bid process, followed by J.E. Dunn and then Excel Constructors. The selection committee made a determination by evaluating the information from the RFQs and the bid to determine the firm the selection committee deemed the best qualified to successfully execute the project. With the minimal differences in the bid price and the difference in qualification, staff engaged Turner then to do some value engineering on the project. Based upon the qualifications and the bid price, that's where we came up with the recommendation that Turner Construction was the best suited for the project.
Okay, did that answer your question, Councilman?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is there any other discussion or questions? If not, I would accept the motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Hold same sign. Aye. Had to remind myself to vote on that one. Motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing on a PUD concept plan.
Mayor, the city has the following exhibit to enter into the record: City Council information form with attachments, staff report with attachments, affidavit of publication as advertised in the Blue Springs Examiner, dated February 7, 2015, application with attachments, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners with 185 feet of site, copy of letter sent to the property owners. That is all we have to offer for the record.
Okay, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mayor and Councilman. Before you this evening is a request from Ashler Homes, represented by Sean Woods, to amend the Indigo Hills Planned Unit Development Concept Plan. The Indigo Hills PUD, show you here, is located on the far west side of town along 40 Highway. You can see the shaded area here. The area in question that's currently undeveloped as a part of Indigo Hills project. The applicant is looking at modifying this phase of the PUD concept plan to eliminate some lots, eliminate some kind of a loop road, and also to construct his own personal residence at the far north end of the project. The request did go before the Planning Commission last week. It was recommended for approval unanimously by the Planning Commission. Again, I can get into some details of the proposed project. Again, they're looking to take, it's about just over 13 1/3 acres of the approximately 33-acre overall residential subdivision and amending that. They're reducing the number of villa units, which you can see is shown as SF7 along 40 Highway, from 21 to 10 in that second phase, and then also reducing the estate lots, which is shown as SF12, larger lot zoning, from the originally proposed 20 lots down to 8 lots. I can show you a proposed drawing. And this shows you a little bit more clearly what's being proposed. Let me flip around to the currently approved version from the PUD final plan back in 2005. You can see here how there was proposed to be kind of a loop road as a part of this final phase, and then also another cul-de-sac with, again, the villa lots here and the continuation and completion of, villa lots here and estate lots, on this side. As you can see, the applicant is proposing to shorten up those two streets, again, to finish out with a cul-de-sac here, the north end with the villa lots, and then the estate lots on the south end, and then also cutting off the proposed cul-de-sac in the middle here with some additional estate lots. They're also proposing a kind of a larger, more subdivision-wide type stormwater detention as a pond here, be continuously wet pond, not just a dry basin. And then lot 37 here you see to the north would be their proposed single-family residence with access off of 40 Highway. One addition or correction, I should say, or modification that was made to the preliminary plat, which was also heard by the Planning Commission last week, was to remove this delineation between a tract D and lot 37, actually make it all lot 37 with a just an easement over the pond, so it's not a tract that could possibly be left, in limbo, as we may see in some other older subdivisions where a stormwater detention tract may just be kind of left out there with potential for, being separated out from the rest of the subdivision. So we're actually looking at attaching it to Lot 37. Again, the applicant can speak more to that and his preferences there as well. So with that, again, the Planning Commission did recommend approval. Again, this is the Land Use Development Concept Plan. So the applicant has provided some draft renderings of potential units with the villas and also the estates, keeping in character with the rest of the already constructed subdivision. But again, the details of that, the details of landscape buffer, landscape plan, and such are yet to come forth at the PUD final plan stage. So again, this is the PUD concept plan, and the applicant is coming forward here with this modification you see before you. And I'll certainly stand for any questions.
Are there any questions, Mr. Allen, from council? Any questions? Seeing none.
Thank you.
Is the applicant present who would like to come and speak, be sworn in and speak?
I do. Sean Woods, 903 Southeast Willow Place, Blue Springs, Missouri. I don't really have a formal presentation other than to say, in addition to this property that we have under contract to buy from the bank, we're also buying 12 estate lots that were in the first plat that are yet to be built, as well as 7 PUD or villa type lots that are yet to be built as well. So, even though it looks like we're adding just a few lots, we will end up having 19 estate lots to finish up, and then 17 of the villa type product to finish up. We are proposing to keep the same restrictions in place that are in place in the community today. Square footage minimums will remain the same. The building types and finishes on the outside will remain the same. So we're not looking to change the character of the neighborhood at all. And as Mr. Allen said, the one thing that came up in the Planning Commission kind of about our layout was the Track D being separated, and we're fine with that becoming a part of Lot 37 and being a drainage easement. That's not an issue at all. So with that, I'd entertain any questions anybody has.
Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, did I understand, Mr. Allen, to say that you plan to have your residence there in Indigo Hills?
Yes, sir. On Lot 37 would be where I plan to build my personal home, and it would have access. We have permission from Missouri Department of Transportation to bring one residential driveway off 40 Highway there.
Good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for your testimony.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of? Yes. What's that deal?
I do. Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Robert Bradley Clark, or Brad Clark. I live at 4808 Southwest Indigo Hills Drive with my father. I would like to speak in support of this proposed plan. My biggest concern at the very beginning of this was the ultimate responsibility of the pond. Right now, we don't have a lot of homes, so the HOA has very little money, and we just didn't want to take responsibility of maintenance or liability of the pond. And as of now and under oath last week, Mr. Woods has sworn to take full responsibility. And I firmly agree with that, and I'm okay with that. Other testimony is brought up, worried about a danger of the pond being there. However, our neighborhood sets up against Fleming Park and Blue Springs Lake, that any child or any person could go walk in and fall in or whatever. There's no barriers or fence line or anything to Blue Springs Lake. To me, it's the same as the pond. It's just closer. I do think it is best that the acreage be granted, the pond acreage be granted to Mr. Woods' track to build his house on, and that does clear up the full responsibility of the HOA. And I also believe there was some talk about the pond being removed from the plans. I believe the pond should stay. I think it's an overall benefit of attractiveness to the neighborhood. And even the original online brochure done years ago. I found it online once, and it had a pond with ducks in it on the brochure. So it's kind of been in the planning from the very beginning. I'm extremely pleased with the plan that Mr. Woods has brought forward in the reduction of estate lots and in other lots, which will reduce the overall traffic into the neighborhood. It only has one egress. We get enough traffic as it is. I can't imagine with that other plan and all of those houses what it would be like, especially as the neighborhood builds and there's more and more kids. And then I also agree with the fact that Mr. Woods is buying all of the other lots in my section, as the bank is the current owner and has not been receptive of responsive to the nuance issues that are on those lots, such as dangerous trees and vermin that have kind of taken over those lots. So it'll be nice to actually talk to and discuss with a real individual than a bank entity that really cares nothing about our subdivision. And the one last thing, I talked to Mr. Woods last week in person. It's really important to note that this subdivision has 2 HOAs. There's one for the villas and there's one for the estates. And a lot of the discussion was just about the villas HOA, and I think it's very important that as he continues the discussion with both HOAs, the vocal villas as well as kind of the rest of the estates. All in all, it's my personal belief that this proposal is a good one. Indigo Hills is an amazing neighborhood. I believe that this plan allows a subdivision to maintain its charm that attracted my father and I to it a couple of years ago. And this new plan develops it without risking it to be overdeveloped, which I think that other plan was frighteningly overdeveloped. It may be great for the tax base, but as a neighborhood, I think that it will look like every other neighborhood, and that's what's great about Indigo Hills, is that it is nestled right up against Fleming Park. About the only other thing I would add to my neighborhood would be Google Fiber. One last thing is that the Planning Commission last week took a vote of all of those opposed to the plan. They never asked who else in the audience was for it. So I thought that was something missing from the public record. And of course, all those same people are not here today, so that wouldn't be fair either. But to me, there was about half and half, and it was kind of estates against the villas or via the villas. But for public record, I think that's important to note. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions for me.
Are there any questions of Mr. Clark? I believe you mean tonight we will ask both sides if they want to speak. All right, thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to speak in favor of? In favor of? In opposition to? Yes, would you come up and be sworn in?
Mayor and Council, I'm Jackie Fairbanks. I live at 5121 Southwest Marguerite, and I do appreciate the fact that Ashlar Homes is interested in developing the rest of Indigo Hills villas as well as the estates. And I am delighted to know that Mr. Woods is going to take responsibility for the pond. I do have a copy here of the original platting, and there is no water feature or pond listed on it. Whoops. There's no water feature or pond listed on the original plat that I see here, and the lots for the estates are not that different. My main concern tonight is there are a lot of swimming pools on the estates lots. Every one of those lots has to have a 6-foot fence around it to protect the neighbors from the swimming pools. And I strongly feel that there should be a 6-foot fence around the adjoining properties that are going to butt up to that pond.
That concludes your testimony?
Yeah.
Okay, are there any questions, Ms. Fairbanks? Councilman Fowler?
Yeah, just want to make sure I'm clear on that. You want a fence on the adjoining properties, residential properties,
Yes.
and you're not really as concerned on the back side, or I guess the northwestern side?
If the estate is not concerned about liability or anyone approaching that pond, because we all know there was just a situation yesterday when a child went out on ice on a pond and drowned. And we are not unique in that respect. We all have grandchildren. There are people living in the villas that actually have children that are 13 to 14 years old, and boys like to explore. And so I really, really feel strongly that there should be some type of fencing around there that's going to prohibit access to that pond from other than Mr. Wood's area.
Did I answer your question? Anybody else? Any other council members? Thank you for your testimony.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else in the audience like to speak in opposition to? In opposition to? Before I close this public hearing, I have a question for Mr. Sandy, Public Works. Indigo Hill is in Blue Springs. You see the city limit sign once you get to Hickory Woods if you're going eastbound. Can you get with MoDOT and see why they can't move the Blue Springs city limit sign back to the west to where Indigo Hill starts? Because they're officially in Blue Springs?
We have spoken. We have spoken with MoDOT on that issue. Unfortunately, the portion of US 40 highway in front of Indigo Hills is not in the city of Blue Springs, and that is why the sign is located by Bowling Road where it's at.
Explain it to me again.
Okay.
The part of 40 highway is, and although Indigo Hill is in Blue Springs, there is a gap between Indigo Hill and the actual roadway that is not in Blue Springs. Am I reading that right?
The actual lanes of 40 highway
Right.
are not within the corporate limits of Blue Springs. If they were, then they would move the sign down.
So what does it take? What does it take to make that part of 40 highway part of Blue Springs?
It would be an annexation.
We annex it from MoDOT?
I'm not sure if that's not actually part of Lake Tapawingo at this point.
It wasn't that difficult for Lake Tapawingo to annex the portions they wanted to.
They annexed the north stop of 40 highway, as I recall, not the south side.
Oh, they're on the south side. That's where they give tickets at.
Is it on the south side?
Yeah. Yeah.
We might have our city attorney get with you and see what we can do about that. That would also eliminate some other problems. Okay. Just want that to get on the record so we can check that out. Anyone else from the council before I close this public hearing? Seeing none, we will close this public hearing. Now we have the introduction and reading of Bill 4361.
Are introduced, Your Honor.
Okay.
First reading of Bill Number 4361, an ordinance approving the Indigo Hills amended PUD concept plan.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
All same sign? Aye.
Second reading of Bill Number 4361, an ordinance approving the Indigo Hills amended PUD concept plan.
Motion?
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper?
Aye.
Councilman Clavel?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 4534.
We have another public hearing. And when our children were small, we used to stay at this particular hotel. And I mispronounced it for a number of years and thought I was right. I used to say La Quinta and all kind of stuff, but it's really La Quinta. So next we have a rezoning of La Quinta Inn and Suites.
I'm sorry. Mayor, the city has the following exhibit to enter into the record. City Council information form with attachments, staff report with attachments, affidavit of publication as advertised in the Blue Spring Examiner on February 7, 2015, application with attachments, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of site, copy of letter sent to property owners, Title 4, Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference, 2003 Comprehensive Plan by reference. That is all we have to offer for the record.
Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Your Honor and Councilman. For this evening is a request by La Quinta Inn and Suites to rezone their property from the current GB General Business Zoning District to the RC Regional Commercial Zoning District. The applicant is requesting this in order to make the property conforming in terms of its land use in relation to the zoning district. As you may know, the GB or General Business Zoning District does not permit hotels and motels. However, the RC Regional Commercial Zoning District does. So in order to make the property conforming, the applicant's requesting to rezone the property. For example, as an existing non-conforming use, in other words, being grandfathered in its current state, its current zoning, if more than 50% of the structural value of the hotel were damaged or destroyed, it could not be rebuilt and used as a hotel in the current zoning district. So the applicant is looking to rezone this. Hotels are only permitted in the RC, Regional Commercial, and the LI Light Industrial Zoning District. So the most appropriate along I-70 and in relation to other uses along there is the RC, Regional Commercial Zoning District. So with that, I think everybody's familiar with the location. Just off Jefferson at Woods Chapel and I-70. And this, too, went before the Planning Commission last week in a public hearing and was recommended for approval this evening unanimously 9-0, I believe. Or 8-0, excuse me. So with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Are there any questions of Mr. Allen from the council? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Is the applicant present? Is the applicant present? Seeing none. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in support of? In support of? In opposition to? In opposition to? Council, any comments before I close this public hearing? Seeing none. We will close this public hearing. Next, we have the introduction and reading of Bill 4362.
I'll introduce it, Your Honor.
Okay.
First reading of Bill Number 4362, an ordinance approving the Indigo Hills amended PUD. Oops. I apologize. I'm on the same one. 4362, an ordinance rezoning property from GB General Business to RC Regional Commercial.
Move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Second reading of Bill Number 4362, an ordinance rezoning property from GB General Business to RC Regional Commercial.
Move the bill be approved on its second reading and assign the appropriate ordinance
Is
number.
there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper?
Aye.
Councilman Quibell?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously, given ordinance number 4535.
Next, we have mayoral announcements. I'm going to go straight to thought stupenda. Tonight comes from Henry Ward Beecher, and I quote, "Greatness lies not in being strong, but in the right use of strength." End quote. I don't have any visitors' appearance forms, so now I will defer to our city attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, an appropriate motion would be
I move that this body go into closed session pursuant to Section 610.021, subparagraph 1, Revised Statutes of Missouri, for the purpose of having confidential and privileged communications between a governmental body or its representatives and its attorney relating to legal action, causes of action, or litigation involving this body and legal advice, and Section 610.0212, relating to real estate transactions when the public knowledge of same may affect the legal considerations thereof, and that this body stand adjourned at the end of such session.
Anyone so move? Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Carter?
Aye.
Councilman Edmondson?
Aye.
Councilman Culpepper? Aye. Councilman Quibell?
Aye.
Councilman Fowler?
Aye.
Mayor Ross?
Aye.
Carried unanimously.
We will break for about 2 to 3 minutes to allow our visitors to be excused, and then we will go into executive session.